In my opinion, I don't know why relations are so complicated, and even when they're going well, something happens which ruins our whole life and we don't know what to do as a prelude to the story. I would like you to hit the bell icon and subscribe to our channel in order to get more interesting, true cheating stories in the future. My name is Tiffin and I'm 31 years old while my wife Keisha is 29 years old. I used to run a business of renting legal services. Actually, it was my father's business, but I took over the business. As soon as my father passed away, the business was very profitable and it was very successful. In my opinion, after I came into the business, I changed some of the policies and took a new initiative that were very beneficial. In any case, I met Kesha as a result of an accident. When I was hungry, I went to Domino's to get my meal outside. I had parked my car just as I was about to reverse my car. After getting back, a car came and hit my car badly just in a blink of an eye. And when I get out of the car, I saw a young girl in that car, and there is also a sign of L on the car, which means she's learning how to drive. The ambulance was called and I stayed there with her at that time, attempting to inform anyone. I got her cell phone, but I could not get into the phone because I had gone out due to an accident. As a result, I decided to stay with her and go with her to the hospital. In fact, I was not concerned about my loss at all. I was just worried about her. She was with me at the time. As a result, I looked at her deeply and found her to be very beautiful. She was a very pretty girl, in my opinion, in the hospital. She was getting the treatment that she needed and I was staying in the hospital as well. There was also a police officer who arrived at the scene and began to question me about the whole incident. After speaking to them for a whole scenario, she woke up after about half an hour. My next step was to tell her that it was my responsibility to bring her here afterwards. She thanked me a lot and then she gave me a phone number so that I could call her sister. According to her, she's a writer by profession and that is her occupation afterwards. Her sister came and thanked me for what I had done for her. In the meantime, I stayed there until she came over and stayed with her for a while. My next step was to go home. After that, it is not clear to me why, but I have always been attracted to her for some reason. As soon as I got back to my home, I always thought about her in order to meet her again. I went to the hospital after a period of time. Our story began from her own words upon being destroyed from the hospital. She insisted that I take the money that I lost as a result of having my car accident. In spite of this, I did not take the offer and asked her just for a cup of tea. Instead, she was the love of my life, even though it sounds crazy. I was madly in love with her. From the first moment, that accident was one of the best beautiful thing I have ever seen. After that, we went for a cup of coffee. Our friendship grew. She told me about her profession, her family and all about herself. It was a friendship that developed into love. Over the course of time, I was informed by her that she was divorced. The ex-husband of hers was abusive and a chronic alcoholic. But it wasn't a problem. It was then that I told her not to worry. And then I proposed her for marriage. But when I did, she replied that she wasn't ready to start a new life yet, as a result of the fact that she expressed her fear of it. As soon as she started thinking about the marriage, she had flashbacks of her life as an abusive life in the marriage. As many times as I tried to convince her, she always refused and would ask me to spend some more time with her. Nevertheless, I did not bother her by asking her again. It was after a few months that she asked me to get married. Maybe she was ready by then. In the course of 2 years of dating, we got married. Our lives were changed into a positive way for the better. As a result of this incident, there was no doubt that she was a very caring and responsible girl. Although she adjusted well to my house, it took her a few weeks to get used to my house. It was always her intention to support me in any way she could. There was a time when my business was getting very low due to some losses I had encountered on that occasion. However, she was the one who motivated me and encouraged me to remain patient until everything would be adjusted. There was a sense of love in all her actions. On one occasion, we were in the mall and we were busy shopping for a while. There was a man who came to her and started talking to her as if he was a friend or something to her. As soon as I got close to them, he left. She replied that that was her ex-husband. When I asked about her, my question to her, was that what he was saying? And what do you think he wanted from you? Now? Based on what he said, he just saw her and came over to meet her according to her. As a matter of fact, I don't like this at all in a few days' time. Once again, I was heading in the direction of my home, approximately 100 meters away from my house. I was on the way when I reached my house. I saw a car that I did not recognize and it was gone as soon as I reached it in the car. When I got in, I asked Kesha who was in the car and she said it was her ex-husband who was in the car. He came over to apologize for me for the actions that he had done. According to him, he went to rehab and now he's fine and has come home to apologize for what he has done in that situation. I should have been alert because that was a red flag to me. But at the same time, she was describing the situation to me. So I did not doubt her. In any case, I believed her in the evening. After a few days, she suddenly told me that she was going to spend the night with Anna, who was her best friend, and that she would come at an hour later. My response was okay. It's cool. Have fun with it. This happened about 3 times in the last month after that. When I was doing groceries in the market, I met Anna as we met. I asked her about her family and what she was doing after that. She asked how Kesha was doing. It is true that she's fine. But why are you asking me this question? The last time she met her was 2 days ago, wasn't it? After thinking about it for a bit, she told me that no, she had not met her about 2 months ago. She also told me that I don't even think we talk on our cell phones at all. My curiosity was piqued by this and I again told her that she had to recall if she was sure. Was she sure? I asked her if she had seen her in the last 2 months and said, yes, I didn't. Then suddenly I changed the topic and said, yes, she might have gone with someone else in my bed. I would be forgetting what she had told me before. Once I got back home, I asked her where she was. When I got back to the house, I met Anna today in the market and she told me that she didn't meet you on that day. The woman was shocked for a moment and then said, yes, I was on my way to meet her. But then she suddenly called me and told me that she was leaving for the hospital because her mother was ill. The reason I had the impression that she was going on with someone else was because according to Anna, she had not spent any time with Kesha for the last 2 months and had not even called her. Something was being hidden by her as a result. I was wondering what she was doing at the moment due to the fact that she had my debit card. She wasn't even going shopping with her. It was therefore impossible for her to say that she had been shopping. My attention was drawn to her after that and I started keeping an eye on her. The reason for the suspicion was that all of her activities were suspicious. Anyhow, one day I followed her when she told me she was going out with her friends. One day, as soon as she did not realize that I was approaching her, she went to the restaurant where she met a man she did not realize was me. I was astonished when I saw him for the first time. The person she was speaking with was her ex-husband. I was expecting her to cheat on me with someone else, but it was actually her husband with whom she was cheated on me regardless of how they met. It was a casual meeting. In my opinion, it is not certain that they are again making out as she told me before that he came to meet her and apologized to her. Why would she tell me about this if she was cheating on me with him? As soon as I asked myself this question, I went back home and asked my wife this question as well as soon as I asked myself this question prior to that. However, I thought it would be a good idea to investigate her. During the middle of the night, I came up with a plan to check her cell phone. It was the night before the next night that I secretly watched her open her cell phone and took note of the password she entered. During the course of the night, I picked up her cell phone when she fell asleep. As soon as I opened it, I checked everything inside. In fact, I discovered that she was actually cheating on me with her ex-husband, which I was very upset about. It was common for them to meet many times over the course of time due to the fact that I was a wealthy man. Her ex-husband wanted her to remain living with me. So she granted some money, and when the time came, she was able to get a divorce and received the prenuptial agreement. Additionally, they also had a plan to have fun during the upcoming Valentine's Day as well. Due to the fact that he was not able to manage the place on his own, he gave her the responsibility to doing so. Now that I was aware of their dirty game, I had to do something in order to catch her and put an end to it. First of all, I took screenshots and sent them to my email address. As soon as I became aware of it afterwards, it was my plan to block my card a few days before Valentine's Day was to take place on the 6th of February. There was still 8 days left. So I waited to block my card and then the February. The reason I did this was because I wanted to see how she would react to it. She came to me in the evening and said that the card was not responding. There must be an issue, so please do not worry about it. Hopefully I'll be able to give you another card in a few days. The problem, however, was that she was so angry like a crazy person about the card issue that she demanded a new card for herself. It was my intention to arrange a new card within 7 days. So I told her to wait until then, as I could see anger on her face. I took advantage of the situation and gave her another credit card which she used to book her hotel room. The hotel booking notification has been sent to me and I've received it. Furthermore, it was my intention to tease her in. I made a plan to first trap her in my plan so that I would be able to stop her from going to the hotel the day before I had informed her that she was going to spend the whole day with me. And there were a lot of romantic things I had planned for Valentine's Day. However, her response was expected, as she replied that she will be ill and did not want to hang out with me because her health wasn't allowing her to do so. In spite of the fact that I insisted on her and discussed with her that I already had booked everything, she still refused to go with me. As soon as she got over the argument, she began using her cell phone and I could see nervousness on her face. It was a pleasure for me to watch her in such a stressful state. Eventually, after some time, she came to me and said that she had an appointment with the doctor and that she was needed to see him. There was no way for her to comfort me on 14th of February. So it was now unthinkable for her to comfort me. That's fine with me, I said. I specifically asked her during breakfast on the day of Valentine's Day and she would go to the doctor and at what time she would do so. I did not receive an answer from her. I was asked by her why I was asking this question. It was because I wanted to come with you that I said that you are not in good health and I could not leave you alone since you are not feeling well. She said to me out of the blue, "No, I won't go alone. I'll go with Anna. I've already told her that she can come along with me." I could refuse her at that point. As a way to celebrate Valentine's Day with him, she went to meet him on the day. Upon arriving at the hotel, I followed her to her room. It was now time to confront her about what had happened. The woman was in the room at the time. I've been waiting for some time, so I'll disturb them both at the right time. Then after about 15 minutes, I went to their room and knocked on the door. As soon as her ex opened the door, he was shocked to see me standing there. I saw fear on his face. As soon as I entered the room, I saw her lying on the bed. My first reaction was to laugh and say that was exactly what I wanted to see. In any case, I was aware of this shit. A long time ago, the divorce papers were slammed on her face with a load of force. As soon as I got back home, I go straight to my bedroom. It appeared that I was fine and was not showing any signs of sadness, but I was in fact severely wounded. It was her second marriage, but she was my first love in my life. And I couldn't handle the pain I experienced during this time in my life. In any case, it took me 7 months for me to able to forget all the things that happened in the past, as well as going to counseling and therapy, which helped me a lot. Currently, I'm enjoying my life with a girlfriend who is a good friend of mine after that incident, which was the cause of my mental health problems. I just wanted to have fun with anyone there instead of getting into a serious relationship with them. Sometimes in our lives, we become totally different person after a bloody incident in our life changed us totally and changed how we live our lives. After a while, we became used to it and able to handle it. But the pain would